Today in this session, we go through a new stage again, a dataset stage, and it is a file stage. So in these stages, mostly we are discussing with sequential file and dataset only. The rest will come again. Rest in the sense we don't discuss all of them. File set and sequential file both are same. Uh, we'll just have, and complex flat file stage is a stage which will be used to read the data from your mainframes. An unstructured data stage which is from 9.1, which is used to read the data directly from an Excel sheet. If time permits, I'll show you about unstructured and lookup file set. While discussing with lookup stage, we will come back. Okay, today we'll see with dataset and the sequential file stage and comparing each other. And next we'll go to the other components again, other stages. Okay, so coming to the data set, it is in a file stage, and sequential file stage is also in a file stage. Majorly in interviews, people will ask you what is difference between a sequential file stage and a data set. So in that way, if you are willing to give a good reply with some accuracy points, that makes you unique from other different people. Okay, so that is the reason I want to cover very important things between difference between a sequential file and a dataset. So for that, now I'll discuss dataset for some time, and later we'll go back again to uh, difference between a sequential file and a dataset. To start with, dataset is in a binary stage. Means it format, it reads in binary format. How can we say? Means by the stage itself, see, there is a symbol, there are some binary symbols. Okay, and the data stage also reads in a binary format. That is the reason dataset is a native stage of a data stage. Sequential file stage is not a native stage. It's a different stage. Different means like format wise. It reads in text format. Whereas data set reads in binary format, which is data stage native format. In that case, we don't require sequential file stage as a intermediate stage. What is data set means? It is a intermediate stage. You cannot read data set directly as a sequential file stage. I mean to say, you cannot use dataset as a source until unless you load the data of the source of a database or a file or anything. Once you dump into dataset, then only you can use this dataset as a source. That is the reason we can say dataset is a binary intermediate stage, and its execution mode is parallel, and in which format it reads means it reads in binary format. What I am talking now is very important. Okay, because dataset is apart from a file stages we use for performance issues also. Please be more concentrated here. Okay, so now I told you, like, okay, first I'll show you dataset, how to execute and what all things that we have. Later on, we'll go for difference between a sequential file and a dataset. First, to talk about dataset, I'll just take one more copy of the job, or else I'll create a new job. I'm taking a new job. And in this session only, I'm going to talk about the save button in columns tab. I'll use database as a source for this process. Now I'm going to drag a link to output for a dataset. I'm going to provide some details. Oracle, Scott, Tiger, table name, table definition that we have seen in the previous sessions. For now, I am just unchecking this enable runtime problem propagation. It doesn't require. Okay. I'm going to load this data, the file that we have into the path that we have created in the D folder, batch 101, target, dataset target, reject and all I don't want. And this is the live class, dataset class. So I'll use emp dataset file as .ds. .ds extension is dataset. Columns, everything will be mapped. Okay. Now I'm trying to run this. Before running, we need to compile, and if we want to compile, we need to save the job. I'm going to save this as dataset and dataset and sequential file difference job 7. I hope it is 7 only. So it is compiling now. Compilation successful and run. So now 14 records will be loaded into dataset. You can view the data. When dataset creates the target, it creates 3 files: control file, descriptor file. Okay, control file, descriptor file. Descriptor file, what the file we specify here is a descriptor file. emp dataset.ds. Go to the path, dataset. You try to just read the file. I'm just taking notepad for now. See, descriptor file. So this is your descriptor. You cannot read binary format. It's not a human readable language. It's a binary format. You cannot read it. So it is a descriptor file. Okay. This is one file, and next we have a control file. That control file will be in your configurations and in the default in this path. C folder server datasets. C folder server datasets. So what the data I have created today, unique records. So this is your dataset files that we have given. See, emp dataset.ds. In this path it is going to save. The path which I given here is a different one, and the path which is, this is control file. You can control your datasets from here. Okay, and here you cannot control. Descriptor file is just to view the data in the source. From here even we can tool wise, if you want to view the file in the view data, we can view. Else tools tab, dataset management we have. See, when you open, it will ask the descriptor file path. It will try to open the descriptor file, and this is another kind of file. 3 files we have: descriptor file, control file, And the third one is like watch file. Watch file in the sense, see here we are able to see the data. I'm sorry, dataset management. Tool wise, how can you view the dataset means dataset management. If someone anyone in interview, if someone asks you, if anyone asks you in interview, how to read a dataset file means in the tool wise, say that dataset management. This is schema. This is data. This is data. What I am going to view now. In the OS level, if you want to read the data set, see binary format, right? You cannot read. It's not a human readable, so you cannot read the binary format from here. So from OS level, if you want, we have arcadmin commands. Arcadmin means like we have to add it in profile user profile command. Then only we can get it. As of now, we don't have those profiles, so we cannot show the arcadmin. But once you Google it like arcadmin commands in data stage, you get arcadmin dump. You get arcadmin cut. You get arcadmin paste. You can get arcadmin remove. Like that, we have Unix commands in arcadmin using arcadmin. Now, dataset we have loaded. These three types of files will be created automatically. Now, if I want to use the source, now if I want to use as a source, now I can use them. 1 second, give me 1 minute. Take this path, target path, and go to dataset and new stage and double click. I'm sorry, I haven't given a link. Now give the path. Columns. Now see, to import the dataset columns, go to here and then say this columns tab save. So this is the usage of save. From apart from here, you don't use it anywhere. Apart from here, you don't use it from anywhere. Dataset table definitions. Save. Okay. So in the repository, you have that folder. See, dataset table definition from the batch. Select that, and now it will be viewed. Your data will be viewed. Okay. See, now I'm going to this path and I'm going to remove this file. Now you try to view the data. No, you cannot. Because that file does not exist. Because this path only, right? Okay, now I'll take this into another job. And I'll put again a data set. And here I'm not giving any path. I'll just create. So I want to save this job. Actually, we need to save this job. And this is also job 7 only. Dataset job 7. Close. See now, I'm not able to view the data because I don't have the file. The file is not created. Means what I'm trying to tell you is this dataset job is dependent on this job because you don't have the file created because I deleted it. So if you want to create it again, you need to run. So this job I'm running, which is dataset sequential file different job. Now 14 records will be loaded as it done in previous. Now the data will be viewed. Now the data will be viewed. So there is a dependency. These dependency jobs are controlled using sequence jobs. Those we will discuss in the at the end of the sessions. Okay, see now the data is, but I haven't run this job still. Now I'm going to run. Now the data will be loaded. So in such cases only the data set can be used as source. Okay, directly you cannot read the source data from data using dataset. This is very important. So if someone asks you, can you read the data from dataset using dataset from the source? No, it is not possible. Did I run this job? I'll just give a log what is happening because something dataset job is finished, but still why I'm not getting status on the link. We'll see whether the data is present here or not. Yeah, it is able to view. Okay, job ran, but due to some reason it is not showing the status. It should be on link wise, even it should be the status. But okay, nothing, no issues. If something happened in the back. Okay, so this is what about the data set. Data set is the stage which is the intermediate stage, and it improves performance as well. How it improves? For example, see here. I'm going to show 2 points again here in this job. I'm going to use one sequential file stage and I'll remove this. No, I cannot remove that. Okay, I'll take this as copy and I'll put it into sequential file. Okay. Now here I'll tell you how to handle nulls because I previously nulls were made some issues we got when we are discussing with null values in sequential file stage. Okay. So now see, you just go to this table, descript EMP, you get null. So these are not null. Remaining all are nullables. So these are the actual nulls. Okay. See, how many records are going to load it into sequential file stage? I'll show you. I'll put sequential file as target and I'll make it as emp file .txt. Sorry, file info .txt. So first line is column name true and formats. Okay, I'm removing this double quotes. Columns are there. Now I'm going to run. This is not a good practice actually because for one table I'm taking two variable characters, 2 times I'm hitting the database. Okay, but still only for the practice purpose I'm showing you. Now go to the target which I created. So EMP info. See how many records got loaded? Total 14 records are there, but how many records got loaded? Only 4 because this 4 only doesn't have any null values. Now I want to perform null handling. See, before in dataset you have 14 records. So nulls are not rejected here. In dataset, nulls are not rejected. Okay, in sequential file, nulls are rejected. So dataset 14 record, but here you have only 4 records. So this is one difference from a dataset and a sequential file stage. Dataset will not support null values. Sequential file supports null values. So now how to handle, this is by default. By default, how to handle null values means go to format tab, field defaults, null field value, just make it as space, enter, click OK. Now compile and run. Done. So now if I run now, before I have only 4 records loaded, but now see, now open total 14 records loaded. So this is null handling in sequential file stage. And this file only actually for the source even it will work. Okay. And one more thing I want to show in job properties, I have generate OSS script. Okay. This is a script which will generate at compile time error. Compile time means after click, when I click on compile, the script will generate. That script is going to execute. Actually, this GUI is going to generate as a code into Java. Okay, so that script I will show you, generate OSH. See, in the previous jobs, like sequential file stage. In this job, the sequential file is source. Go to generate OSH. See the schema record. This is operator sequential file is an operator. It is using import operator. It is using import operator. And by default, these stages are, every stage is an operator. Every stage is an operator. So if you see here, the same job data set as data set copy operator. Dataset is a source target and sequential file is a source. In next job, I have created one more job, dataset sequential file differences. Dataset is in target. Okay, I'll show you the sequential file. Before import operator is there when it is in source. See here, Oracle connector. I will use sequential file stage. Yeah, the sequential file stage. See export operator file 6 means while source it is reading, it is using import operator, while target it is using as export operator. Means two operators it is taking. But you see the copy dataset operator. Dataset operator, either you put as a source, either you place it as a target, it uses only one operator, copy operator. So that is the reason the performance wise dataset is best. Means if you put as dataset, how dataset you are using intermediate level, if you use sequential file stage, you may get performance issues. Dataset will improve your performance because your operators are not required here. Import operator, export operator. Okay, so that is the major difference. So we'll point out some differences here in the note in the paint. I'll just make some differences. So data set I'll mention here. First we have discussed about sequential file. I'll make it about sequential. Don't bother of spellings. Sequential file stage. So sequential file stage 1. Sequential file stage uses as operator. Import operator. Conversions are required. First of all, conversions are required. But dataset doesn't require. Cannot handle nulls by default. Cannot handle nulls by default. And reject link will be supported. Reject supports. And dataset doesn't support a reject link. And conversions required because of import operator and export operator. Okay, and it can read only up to 2 GB. data wise, but dataset can read more than 2 GB. Dataset. Dataset stage. Conversions are required. Here doesn't require. Conversions not required. No need of conversions. Second one, cannot handle null values by default. Can handle null values by default. Can handle null values by default. And reject supports. Dataset doesn't support reject, right? Reject. And import operator, export operator. By default, it is copy operator. Only copy operator. Either import or export, copy. It can read more than 2 GB. It can read more than 2 GB data. And the next, it reads in text format. And in dataset, binary format. Binary format. Okay. So these are the major difference between a sequential file and a dataset. Okay. So very important. Interview, one of the major interview parts. Most of the interviews people will ask you. Most of the interviews people will ask you. Okay, so this is very theoretical interview question. Difference between a sequential file and a data set. And sometimes people may ask you about the file set even. File set you can see, just simple. I'll just demonstrate. See, file set and they'll ask you about the sequential file. In sequential file, read method is file pattern and specific file, but we don't have here. And the sequential file, it is by default sequential mode, but here it is parallel mode. And options, almost all whatever you can do it in sequential file, we can do it here. But it's not more than that we have, and it's less than that we have. Okay. Use schema depend if it is file. If there is schema file option, here it is asking true or false. Reject mode. Continue. We have fail output. Means here also the reject link will support. And here we'll see reject reason column. Here also it supports. And here, what is major difference between a sequential file and a file set means sequential file reads up to 2 GB. See, file set can read more than 2 GB also. Okay, here also we can have more than that, but only one file can read at a time. Okay, and format tab and columns, whatever we discussed with the sequential file, all the things are same. Okay, expect the schema. The schema option is mentioned here in different way, but if you the purpose is same. Okay, parallel stage. Okay, operators, import operator, export operator, no. Here also same, the sequential file stage uses import and export, but here also it is not same. It is like copy operator only. Okay, so this is what about a file set. I'm sorry, I just given the wrong information. I'm really sorry of it. The file set is also like a sequential file, import and export operator. It's not like copy operator. I'm sorry, data set. It's like export and import only. Okay, I'm sorry. We'll remove it. So this is the major difference from sequential file and data set. So we have seen data set intermediate stage. Okay, so we'll stop here and we'll see further in the next classes. Okay, the heavy topics and technical topics will be discussed in the further sessions. Thanks a lot. Thanks for your time for watching this video.